Six more found dead. And all that we hear is it's got to be Netanyahu's fault. Six more found. Six more human beings found. And all that we hear is we need a ceasefire. Six more found, and people, unfortunately, their families destroyed. And all we hear is this could have been avoided. Yeah, this could have all been avoided. Hi, everybody. I'm David Solomon. I'm flying solo today. This is the Rant Network, a podcast that we bring you unfiltered, unedited, uncensored conversations on a wide variety of topics. Folks, this platform is dedicated to you to express your opinion, share your thoughts, experiences, and ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives, honesty, and what have you. Please join us as we dive into the latest of news, pop culture, politics, and so much more. We deal with absurdity of modern life. We deal with discussions about deep issues that affect our society. And folks, we at the Rant Network have you covered on these topics and more. We dive into the areas that people do not want to talk about. Your social circles want to avoid this. We do not. So, one more rant for today. Saturday night, horrible news. 6 more of the hostages were found. Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Ori Danino, Alexander Lobanov, Almog Saruri, and the American-Israeli Hirsch Golden Pulling. A few weeks ago at the Democratic National Convention, Hirsch's parents stood on the stage, crying, begging the world to bring home a human being. It wasn't a message about politics. It wasn't a pro-Israel move. It wasn't an anti-Palestinian message. But of course, the left took it as an insult that a pro-Israeli was on the stage. No, it was a mother, a father, appealing to have their son returned safe and sound from such a horrifying experience. 1,200 people were killed, murdered on October 7th, Many raped, burnt. Unbelievable. It's not humanity. And yet, the world blames Israel for all that goes wrong in the Middle East. Israel's the occupier. Israel's a genocidal state. Israel's an apartheid state. Everything you could possibly imagine, they throw at Israel. And prior to October 7th, Israelis were in the streets. Many of them, not most, but many, were in the streets protesting judicial reform, other economic issues, challenges faced by a country that was over 75 years old and facing a new challenge in its history, maturity. Yes, the rebirth of Israel was at the time about 75 years old. But Israel was going through kind of a change, cultural change. Nearly 10 million people living there. You have a question of what do you do as the country grows? The same judicial system, the same political system that had been around since its founding was kind of in question. But people didn't look at it as if it was to get better. It was the right versus the left, as we've seen in the United States and Canada and other places. It's what they call right versus wrong. It's media, left liberal media attacking conservative leadership. Israel was no different than any other country, except for the fact that countries like Canada and the United States and England and France have established systems that worked. But Israel did not. But the way the media wanted to paint it at the time was a power grab by Netanyahu because he was being pursued. It was looked at as a power grab by the left, and they had to try to get rid of Netanyahu. October 7th stopped all that conversations. And October 7th changed how we felt about things. Or at least that's what we thought. October 7th was an opportunity for people to realize that we need to be unified as a country, as a people. That the threat to Israel, to Jews worldwide or practically worldwide was real. But yet, what was the reaction? All this from the beginning was Netanyahu's fault. The blame game started on day one. And we will find out eventually who was really responsible. But the politics never ended. The United States tried to position herself as the beacon and would control Israel and stop it like other wars. That's what the hope was from the State Department, the left. Choke Israel. Choke her. It didn't happen. With the world pressure coming down on Israel from the West, the East, Israel fighting war on 7 different fronts because Hezbollah started firing rockets on day 2. The Houthis started attacking in the Gulf. Others, it was an unbelievable situation. But the world kept pressuring Israel. Stop it. We'll have peace if you stop it. There was no peace on October 6th. So how do you all of a sudden on September the 2nd or any day between October 7th and today, there'd be peace? And what was proof was what happened on Saturday night. With the 6 found brutally murdered. The reason? Simple. Israel was getting closer. Where did they find them, folks? The tunnel in Rafah. Now, why was Rafah such an important name for me to bring up? Simple. The US and the West insisted Israel not enter Rafah. That's right. Don't go into Rafah. And Israel did. And found dead hostages. Found Qaid Farhan al-Qadi, 52-year-old Muslim. He was from the town of Midvatchim. He was found in one of those tunnels. Alive. Not 100% well, but alive. And what was ironic is that Israel was celebrating the life of a Muslim who was captured as a hostage. Israel and Jews worldwide celebrated his return. The genocidal and apartheid state that is Israel doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Why would you celebrate the return of a Muslim if that's what you really are? But the pressure on Israel grew after Saturday night when the 6 were found, killed, only because Israel was winning. Israel was getting closer. When Joe Biden on Wednesday made the statement after they found the hostage that, it's time for a deal. Again, every time they say that we need a deal, Israel suffers. Every single time. And then again, this past weekend, both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said it's time for a deal. And Biden said he's going to give a deal that take it or leave it deal. And every single time the statement is made, Israel suffers. Hamas ramps it up, understanding that that's the pressure on Israel to buckle, not them. Hamas is very fortunate that they have Al Jazeera and the liberal media to spew their propaganda. And they've done a remarkable job of it over the last 10 months. 11 months. Why? Whatever Hamas says goes. That's the truth. And when liberal media in Israel, like Haaretz and others, take that and run, eventually it gnaws at you. It must be Netanyahu's fault. The government must be wrong. Israel's not doing enough to release the hostages. Israel must do anything possible to release the hostages. But that's not what's going to have to happen. Folks, I wouldn't want to be in a position of a parent who has to make the decision between their child, their loved one, and the safety of the country. But we're right back to October 6th all over again. Yes, October 6th, when everything which could go wrong is Netanyahu's fault. We have to listen to the media because Netanyahu cannot be right. Netanyahu's not doing enough. Left-wing politicians have been attacking him in public, while in private, saying otherwise. In public, discrediting him for not wanting to secure the hostages, not wanting to negotiate for the hostages. In 2014, 50 days of battle didn't do anything except for murder more Israelis. Yes, Palestinians were killed, but Israelis were killed. Tunnels were built. And Israel has found one tunnel after another coming in from Egypt. going in from Gaza into Israel. And Israel wants to destroy them, control them. They don't trust now Egypt for what has happened because all the passage of weapons that is coming through Egypt, trucks could go through those tunnels. That's how big they are. And Israel's not going to let it go. Israel can't let it go. The decision is between a rock and a hard place, folks. The decision to make this call, the decision to whether to the safety of the hostages, the safety of the country. No, you don't want to make it. You would say, I would want to go for the hostages, for example. But what are you sacrificing? The country. Because we've seen this. We've seen this in 2014. And unless Hamas is completely declawed, this will happen again. And so while Israelis are protesting in the streets emotionally, don't misunderstand it. The majority of Israelis would like the government to do more to return the hostages and feel that we should twist their arms harder to get the hostages back alive. We believe there's still 101 held in captive, 35 confirmed murdered, which means there should be about 66 alive, maybe, including the Bibas kids, baby who was captured, who has now spent the vast majority of his life in captivity as opposed to in freedom. We don't even hear that name anymore. We're not even sure if they're alive. But the world continues to want to pressure Israel. And watch, Israel is tired. 11 months is exhausting. Mentally, physically. PTSD is rampant. Children went back to school yesterday, folks. Yes, September 1st is the first day of school in Israel. Many went back to school. Many could not. In the north, they're not in their homes. In the south, they can't get back. The kids are displaced. Life is awful. Lives are ruined forever. But to force a negotiation which would release thousands of Palestinian prisoners, criminals, murderers, people who have committed heinous crimes. We've done this. We've done this. And we paid the price. The paradigm has to change. The formula must change. It must change. So, while we're watching today, the media, the liberal media loving the anarchy in Israel, because that's what got us here, and hoping that Netanyahu's government will fall. That's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. We hope the war will be over. Enough already. 1,643 Israelis total killed, which includes 344 soldiers and police who have been killed. 21 soldiers in the north, 13 soldiers and police in Yudan, Shomron, Judea, and Samaria. We're fighting a battle in the West Bank. They're fighting a battle in Gaza, unfortunately. And they're fighting with Hezbollah in the north. Over 21,000 estimated rockets have been fired in Israel. 88,000 Israelis have been displaced. Those are the statistics. And to go back to where we were October 6th will not change the formula. There is no peace partner on the other side, folks. There is no peace partner. It's a lie. It's a power play. And until the other side decides that it's time to lay down their arms and go towards peace and gets rid of its propaganda and hate towards Israel and Jews, we might have a chance. But watch what's happening now in university campuses. Watch what's happening around the world as they're going back to school, and they will ramp up again the paid protesters, the masked haters, and the anarchy that they're going to create. Does that make any sense to you? Does it? Because it's happening. It started already. This isn't about peace. This is about ruining Israel. This is about destroying her. That's the goal. That has been the aim from day one. Look at Reuters, the way they portray the situation. CNN, when Hirsch was found, they only said he died, not murdered, not brutally murdered by his hostages. Dead, died. That's the way the media likes to treat this. Human beings? No, they're Jews. They're not Jews. They're human beings. They're hostages. Yes, the majorities have to be Jews. But what happened to humanity? What happened to hope for humanity? What happened to we are here for humanity? It's a lie. It's not happening. And as a result, folks, we are in a juncture where, yes, difficult decisions have to be made. But the pressure should be the other way around. The pressure should be on Hamas, the terrorists, return the hostages. You return the hostages, we negotiate. Not before. They've been used as fodder. They've suffered enough for 11 months. Bring them home. Bring them home now. Enough is enough. Thank you for today's episode, for tuning in and listening to the Rant Network. We hope you gained something from this conversation, something insightful. Hopefully you can share this with other friends and people that you know. We appreciate your support. We'll be back again for another thought-provoking rant on Wednesday.